What's up, guys? It's been a while, so I thought that since we had the Bronx redesign being implemented in about a month, I think it would be a good time to give out my thoughts on the upcoming changes. So without further ado, here are my thoughts on the Bronx Bus redesign changes. So we're actually going to start off things with something that's not on the list of proposed changes, which is the Bx1. So currently, the Bx1 operates limited service from Monday to Saturday, with following local service on Sunday. I think Grand Concourse is a high enough order to have limited service on Sundays with the Bx1. I don't believe the D-train is enough to really support ridership on the line, and I know that the Bx1 and Bx2 are extremely crowded on the concourse, so I think it wouldn't hurt to have the Bx1 run all day limited service all day, every day, with nighttime being local service. Okay, so now we're going to go over the changes on the Bx4, or rather the Bx4a, which is proposed to be cut from 3rd Avenue to Southern Boulevard due to redundancy duplicated by the Bx4 and the 2 and 5 trains. I think that if it's going to be changed like that, then the Bx4a should be renamed into the 44. I have no comments on the proposed changes, but if you're going to have it stay as the 4A, it's going to confuse riders, so why have it stay as the 4A? Why not name it something like the Bx44? That's my opinion though. The Bx5 is another route that's not really going to have too many proposed changes. But with the Bx6 SBS being rerouted to White Plains Road instead of Hunts Point, I think that the Bx5 has potential to just be extended past White Plains Road during weekdays. Currently, all service runs to Pelham Bay Park, with some short turns to White Plains Road. So I propose that all the short turns to White Plains be extended to Bay Plaza full-time, especially since the Bx12 SBS is not enough to support growing ridership in Bay Plaza. Speaking of the Bx6 SBS, I think the Bx6 SBS is another route that could be renamed the Bx56, because it represents the eastern half of the Bx5 and the western half of the Bx6. And the Bx6 SBS could also confuse riders, because many people would still believe that the Bx6 SBS would still go to Hunts Point. The Bx11 to Parkchester, I actually don't think it's a bad idea at all. It replaces part of the Bx36 that would be rerouted to Tremont, and retains the connection to Washington Heights on 174th Street. So I don't think it's really a bad route at all. Now here comes the fun part. Many people believe that the Bx15 should be retained to Manhattan to keep the connection between the Bronx and 125th Street. I say that you should keep the M125 because during rush hour, buses get stuck. If anything, you should keep the M100 on 125th Street if you're going to cut the Bx15 like that. That's my only complaint on 125th Street, even though I see why the MTA would cut it, because they love to cut as much as they can. But the M100, I think it does need to be on 125th Street. However though, I do not think that 3rd Avenue and 149th Street is a good terminal for the Bx15. And let's just say that we want to keep the connection to 3rd Avenue to Manhattan. So this is just a thought. Extend the Bx15 to Lexington 125th Street, or find a layover around 125th Street, and then going back, just use the West Avenue Bridge, call it a day. But this is not what I would propose. I think that the Bx15 could continue south to 3rd Ave 138th Street to connect with the 6. And if layover is the problem, have the Bx15 and Bx21 swap terminals, with the Bx21 being at 149th Street and the Bx15 ending at 138th Street. The Bx18, well, I'm not really too sure there was really too much we could do with the Bx18, but I do like that it's being, 1, converted into a loop route, and 2, serving more developing areas of High Bridge and Morris Heights. It's a nice touch for the Bx18. I like it. Let's keep it that way. and I hope that with the changes, the Bx18 grows in ridership. Let's go over the Bx23 and Q50 routes. So currently, the Q50 is going to be cut from Co-op City at all times, except during the peak period. I think this is really stupid, and to have Q50 riders get off at Pelham Bay for the Bx23, that's just dumb. Originally in the draft plan, I think most if not all of the Co-op City routes were going to be cut in some way, with the Bx23 being the connector of Co-op City. But again, that makes no sense. Why are you going to have everything going to the Bx23? Have the Q50 stay in Co-op City, or at least during the weekdays, because that makes no sense at all. While staying on the topic of Co-op City, let's go over the newly proposed Bx25. The Bx25 is now going to be proposed to run the Bx26 route, but it's going to be the Bx38 route in Co-op City. This not only preserves the original routes that were in 2010, but with the Bx25 now being re-added, it's going to be really good for the Co-op City residents to have all the sections of Co-op City be served by Gun Hill Road routes and Allerton routes. I'm very happy for Co-op City, and I'm very glad that service is retained in Co-op City throughout the entire neighborhood. I'm not going to go over too much of the Bx29 because I think that the cut from Co-op City to Pelham Bay and 24-hour service is actually not the best thing in the world, but it's an okay thing, because the 29 serves only so much of Co-op City, and it could easily be replaced by the Bx23. So I think the 29 is just okay, not much to say about it. The Bx30 reroute to Boston Road and Pelham Parkway, I actually saw this coming, because I'm pretty sure the MTA does not want Beeline to operate service on Boston Road. The W60, 61, and 62, in the MTA's eyes, they want to shut it down. Not like shut it down in a traditional sense, but not going to be surprised if the W60, 61, and 62 be converted to closed door in the near future. We're going to briefly discuss the now discontinued reroutes of the Bx34, which was going to have the Bx34 be rerouted from Bainbridge and Valentine to Webster Avenue all the way to Fort Road, with the Bx28 replacing some parts of lost service. I do not know why. I don't know why they really went through with this change other than to please the elders in the neighborhood, but in a way, I'm not to say that it's not good, but at the same time, I'm pretty sure an additional 5 minutes to Webster Avenue would not really hurt, because sometimes traffic on Fordham is terrible, and just leaving Valentine to go upwards on Bainbridge, that's already a headache. So I'm hoping that the MTA revisits this change in the near future. The Bx35 to Jennings Street, I see that as more of a coverage kind of thing for the Bx11. Since there's going to be no service at Jennings Street at Bx11, why not just reroute the Bx35 from the West Farms terminal and just go up to Jennings Street? Because it's coverage reasons, I'm not going to be too mad, but I think this is just something to think about, because just like the Bx34, the community can make a difference. And finally, let's go over the Bx36, 40, and 42. The Bx36, extremely improved. I'm very happy for it. I love that the route is going on White Plains Road and Tremont for basically most of its route. And I love the fact that the Bx40 and 42 basically have a direct replacement of Tremont, with the aforementioned routes being rerouted to East 180th Street to replace the Bx36. The Bx36 needed this change. The Bx40 and 42 reroute is actually kind of clever, because you could go directly from East 180th Street to Tremont Avenue in the Morris Park section. So I give them a round of applause for that. And with that, those are my thoughts on the Bronx Bus Redesign. So leave a comment below. Which changes do you agree with? Which changes don't you agree with? Do you have any personal changes you want to add? Comment below. In the meantime, this is JJ logging off. Catch you next time.